covering music-related content of all genres. If it filters through Eastern Texas, then you know we are all over it, baby. From Texarkana to the coast, Dallas down to Houston, and everything in between, we are ETX ROCKS!
Howdy folks, this is Aaron Watson. Thank you for tuning in to the ETX ROCKS Show.
Gotta get the words out of my mouth. My tongue is a loaded gun, ain't aiming to hurt no one, but the truth is a lose-lose, and our heart's gonna break when I finally say what I'm dying to say. This secret is keeping me, keeps keeping me. This secret is keeping me. The one I'm with, not the one I love. My tongue is a loaded gun, ain't aiming to hurt no one. This secret is keeping me, keeps keeping me. This secret is keeping me. Oh, the one I'm with, not the one I love. The one I'm with, not the one I love. The one I'm with, not the one I love. The one I'm with, not the one. The one I'm with, not the
Hello there, music lovers. This is Hayley McDaniel coming to you with a really great episode for this week's Hayley's Country Tuesdays right here on the ETX ROCKS Show. This artist, this duo, is a Nashville-based powerhouse consisting of Pennsylvania-bred music theater geek Stevie Steves, and straight from Kentucky, former bassist for punk rock band The Pink Spiders, Jon Steevie. The two talents unexpectedly crossed paths at Skip Ewing's Horse and Rider Seminar in Wyoming, where they immediately connected musically. Not long after they met, they realized they both lived behind the liquor store on 8th in the heart of Music City, yet they had to travel thousands of miles to find out that they were meant to make music together. Ladies and gentlemen, introducing right here on the ETX ROCKS Show, Stevie and Jon from Towne. How's it going, guys?
It's going great.
Good. Thanks. We are so glad to have you on the show. As you guys know, I'm a fan. I saw you guys perform at the Listening Room in Nashville back in October and have been obsessed with you ever since. So there's that.
That was fun.
that was a blast. Thank you for saying that. That was a great show. That was a good night for everybody, I think.
It was a lot of fun. I was able to meet a few writers that I've been really excited to meet, and then of course see you guys and become instant fans. So tell me about. I want to hear more about this living arrangement. You both were neighbors behind a liquor store and had no idea. I got to hear more about that.
Yeah. We literally like lived a street apart from each other for probably a couple years without knowing it. It was like, yeah. And when we were out in Wyoming, it just, we were at that seminar and at the Skip and Ewing thing, like you ride horses and you get to know people that attend, and we just started a conversation, and I was like, where are you from? And he's like, I'm from Nashville. I'm like, me too. And he's like, I live behind the liquor store on 8th Avenue. And I was like, me too.
How funny. Oh my gosh, what a small world. But I mean, I guess when things are meant to be, they come together. It's like, okay, we put them this close together in Nashville and that didn't work. So let's send them both to a writing seminar in Wyoming.
Yeah, it was pretty wild, man. Like I think 8 people got this scholarship to go to this deal out of like 30 or some odd thousand people.
Oh, way.
So it was pretty pretty against the odds for sure.
How funny is that? Talk about like serendipity. Wow, that's crazy. Okay, so did you guys, I mean, was it instant that you realized that you needed to write together? I mean, how quickly did the duo Towne form? I want to hear kind of more behind that.
I think we started a friendship right off the bat. I mean, even when we were out at the seminar, we kind of were always like sitting beside each other and talking more with each other, I think, than we were with anybody else there. So that was pretty cool. And I really liked Jon's songs that he wrote, and I'm speaking for him right now, but I think he liked mine too.
I did. He does a great job.
But yeah, so and then after that, obviously, like being neighbors, like once we got back to Nashville, we started writing music and hanging out a lot and just kind of forming like a really cool friendship with each other. So I think that's where it started. And then we just started like writing more and more songs together, doing songwriters nights, and people kind of were asking, like, well, do you have a CD of y'all's music? And we were like, no. And they're like, well, what do you call yourselves? And we're like, Jon and Stevie.
Jon and Stevie.
We didn't have a band name or anything like that, but over time we kind of looked at each other and said, maybe this is something we should pursue. And then it's been us ever since that. I mean, we've just been working hard at it every day for a long time.
Yeah.
So what year was it that you guys met in Wyoming? How long ago was that?
Oh,
that was 2010.
Yeah.
When we met.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I think
okay.
we met in August. Or August or November or something.
August.
Yeah.
So 7 years ago. Holy, that's good. You guys have been writing for a while.
Well, that's when we met. Yeah, and I guess we started writing sometime that next year. So
okay.
It's been good.
That's awesome. Okay, so Stevie, as a former theater geek myself, I need to hear more about your love for theater and where that came from.
Well, I grew up in a really small town called Blairsville, Pennsylvania, and I was really fortunate. I mean, like, when I say small, like, my high school graduating class was like 70 people.
Wow.
But I was really fortunate to have, like, we had a really great musical program at my school. And it was considered to be kind of elite in a sense.
Wow.
Like just really talented singers and performers. I was in musicals like since I was in middle school, and started off being Nancy and Oliver like when I was 14, and
okay.
Ever since then, just kind of, and I have the best drama teacher, vocal teacher, choir teacher. He was kind of the all-in-one package, like he did it all at my school. But I think he saw something really special in me, and he was a great mentor, and just got me into singing opera. And
oh, really?
Yeah, like just learning a whole bunch of, I fell in love with musicals and the writing behind all of that at a really young age. So,
oh, wow. Okay, so
I'll think about it. Yeah.
which show, if you could be any character on the big stage in Broadway in New York City and play one show, which character would you play? What would be your dream
Oh my
character?
gosh. Oh my gosh. Like that is
It's hard to pick,
that's
isn't
really
it?
hard. Yeah, that's tough.
Oh, it's not like you think about it every day. She's just building this suspense right now.
Exactly.
Yeah,
You know
I
what?
mean,
To stay
Don't bite it.
tuned. We'll answer that after the break. How about that? You can have it up until our commercial break, and then that'll be the big cliffhanger. We'll come back from
Perfect.
okay,
commercial,
I'll take that.
and Stevie will spill the beans on her dream character
I know
on
the world
Broadway.
wants to know.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Are you kidding? And by the world, that's Hayley McDaniel is dying to know for sure. Okay, John, punk band. I need
Yeah.
Pink Spiders. Come on, tell me all about that. I am dying to hear about that.
Oh wow, you don't have enough time, Haley, and neither do I.
I've got
But
all day. Kidding.
no, yeah, it was. I was started bands maybe in like 8th grade, just garage bands doing like Weezer songs and
Yes.
punk rock songs, and just doing stuff like that. And I kept getting kicked out of all these bands because I was really serious. I was always the one like, well, we need to practice, we need to do this, and we need to write songs and
Yeah.
all that. And I think I was a major drag, and yeah, they really didn't care for me too much, and I was like, well, okay, whatever.
Yeah.
But then eventually, I met up with 2 other friends that were in Nashville that were already in other bands, and they were already really serious about it. But the rest, they had the same problem. Like the rest of their bands weren't as serious as they were.
Right.
And so they were like, well, let's just start a band together. And so we said, okay. And yeah, and that's kind of how it started. And that's pretty much what happened. That's short story. I mean, I don't know how much detail you want me to go into, but it was a wild ride for sure.
Yeah, well, no, seriously, because I know that you guys had some success with the Pink Spiders. Give me some high points of, some things that you learned and things that you experienced, and to help prepare you for what you're doing.
Yeah, I mean, it was really all about, being on the road was really the number one experience that I got, as far as living out of a bag and sleeping in a van or sleeping on floors. And, eventually we were, sleeping in nice hotel rooms, but
Nice.
I've kind of had the benefit of going from literally the gutter to the penthouse in a lot of ways.
Nice.
So, I mean, all the experience in between. And it also gave me a lot of experience with the business side of things, as far as what there is to look for and what there is to look out for.
Yeah.
Whether it comes to management or booking agents or any of the boring business stuff that nobody really thinks about. Whenever your dream is just to be a rock star, you don't really think about that kind of stuff. So,
but it's all important.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, and you really do find out how important it is, and to know the difference. So I would say that was what I have carried most with me, and to town and everything that Stevie and I are up to. So I'm very thankful.
That's awesome. Okay, so we've got a hugely talented, and actually, Jon, you are also a really great vocalist, as I learned from your from the writers' round over at the listening room. You sang one of your songs as well with Stevie. But Stevie, you've got such an amazing vocal ability. I mean, your voice is so clear and smooth, and it just has its own unique quality to it. And now that you're learning more about your, theater background and all your musical background and opera, and, it all kind of makes sense as far as building your voice into what it is. So that's nice to hear that. And then Jon, okay, so you got all of this experience from, rags to riches with your punk band, and you're obviously very musically talented. So, and they're kind of two different worlds. I mean, a punk band and musical theater. So tell me how the two of you meshed together so well. Was it just destined? I mean, the stars did bring you to Wyoming to meet. So, I mean, was it just destined to be together, or is there something about the two of you together that just clicks?
Well, the thing is, I think it's a little bit of all that.
Yeah.
You know, whenever we get together and, you know, whether that be the first time we ever sang together or until today, whenever we go to practice songs, you know, it's really, I always sum it up like this. I worked in the business side. I was very fortunate to get a firsthand up close view of that. And the entire time I was doing that, Stevie was getting really good at her craft.
Absolutely.
And the truth is, not all the time are both of those worlds the same. And so, honestly, I think Stevie and I really complement each other a lot as far as she teaches me, you know, in the punk band, we never sang harmonies. You know, that was the last thing we were thinking about. We were thinking about playing as fast and as loud and all that, and how much leather could you wear while you were doing it, you know, like that was the goal. And so whenever me and Stevie get together, I think the reason our voices do what they do so well, and it's a little bit shocking even still to me to this day, but it's because she really has to teach me everything to sing with her. So it's not, you know, there's so many bands that, you know, you just put two really good singers together, and expect it to kind of be this thing, you know, and it's kind of second nature to them because they're both really good singers. But I think what helps us stand apart a little bit is that we've kind of got the yin and the yang, and it's really just because of the want to work together, you know, is so strong that we make it happen. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
It's not, you know, there's a lot of easier scenarios out there, but again, it goes back to, you got to find people that want it as bad as you. And honestly, you know, talent is everywhere. You know, if you go to Nashville, you see talent, I mean, or pretty much anywhere in the country, but talented people aren't always successful. And it's because, you know, the drive is not there. And so it's really important to find other people with the same drive as you have. And I've been lucky to find that in Stevie. So.
I love it.
I
have been
that, really.
Okay.
I'm sorry, Hayley. Honestly, I have been driving for the last 10 hours, and I've been awake since 6:30 yesterday morning.
Oh my gosh!
We just got down here. To the 30A festival here. We're in Panama City right now.
Oh.
And so if anything I'm saying does not make sense, please just stop me. And
I would
think you're doing really good.
Okay.
I would have never guessed that you were sleep deprived and delirious. I'm just kidding.
Okay.
No, you sound great. And it makes perfect sense. And actually, I have to kind of elaborate on what you were saying, or kind of go in a little bit farther about how Nashville is filled with talented people. I mean, the first time I went to Nashville, I was overwhelmed by the talent. And I mean, the best songwriters in the entire world are in Music City. That's not even a question. And a lot of people I've heard from are like, oh, does it make you second guess or make you intimidated? And I'm like, well, it doesn't make me second guess wanting to, you know, write music. If anything, it makes me want to go back more and surround myself with the best and the people that are doing things. And so I completely agree that there's a lot of talent, but it really does take a mindset, and it takes an intention of really just devoting yourself to not only learning it, but surrounding yourself with like-minded people. So I 100% agree.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. So where are you at again? Which festival? I didn't realize that you were on the road.
It's the 30A festival.
Oh. Okay.
Super pumped. There's a ton of great writers, but John Prine is playing. And
God. Shut up.
Playing, Josh Keir. Yeah, some of our very, very most favorites are playing, and we are thrilled to be here.
That's amazing. Well, I'll take that back what I said earlier. I knew that you've been on the road promoting your album, which we'll get to in just a bit.
Right.
I had no idea that you would be driving since 6 a.m. Or however long you said before this interview. Otherwise, I mean, you know, hopefully you're still good to go for another 20 minutes or so.
Really? Oh no! I mean, like I said, my brain is kind of on cruise control, but my heart's in it. You know what I'm saying?
Honestly, Hayley, like he's making the most sense he's had made in a long time.
See, the thing is, I
Oh
used
my
to be able
gosh.
to write songs pretty good when I was drinking, and everybody wondered why that was. I think it's because my brain turned off and I just started spouting all this BS.
Goodness. Well,
And
if you
now that I've quit drinking, I'm like, I always second guess it. So
just like deprive yourself of sleep as much as possible before anything big that you do. I think you found like
yeah,
the
well,
golden ticket.
yeah. I think
So
it's great advice.
that one, yep, straight from me. I tell you, I'm full of not
There you
very
go.
good advice usually, so you might not want to take that. Okay, so John Prine is playing there, and have you seen him
Yeah.
before? I've never seen him live before, so I'm dying to hear the after on this. But
I've never seen him play. I don't think.
I
I
have
remember it.
I have only watched hours and hours of footage from the 70s with him and Steve Goodman. So
wow,
I waited on him when I was a waitress in Nashville for 7 years that I was at Athens. He would come in frequently, and it was nice to give him coffee and Coca-Cola and orange juice and eggs and all that. He was a really sweet guy, so I'm looking forward to hearing him do what he does best.
did that just come like the first time that he walks in and you realize that you're waiting on him in Nashville? Did that just? I mean, did it give you like butterflies? Were you nervous? Were you excited? Like, how do you handle
Yeah.
that?
I remember the first time like it was yesterday, because John and I were actually learning the song in spite of ourselves, and we were doing we wanted to put we were learning it for our show, and we just put out a YouTube thing of us doing it in the apartment, and he walks in, and like every bit of me was like I wanted to be like, John Prine, big fan. In fact, we play your songs all the time, and
Oh my gosh.
but honestly, he just wanted eggs, and
Yeah.
he wanted to be like a normal guy. So, I kept my cool. I was a waitress that day.
That's
and,
awesome.
I wouldn't change it. He was so sweet. He was so incredibly sweet. Like, just please, thank you. Oh, it was just awesome.
That
He
is
was a really nice
awesome.
guy.
One thing I think about constantly is like, as much as I love the music business, all aspects of the business, I'm like, I wonder why God didn't plant my family in Nashville. Like why, I'm a Texas girl now. So, all my Texas peeps, y'all know I'm still true to my roots, but I have thought about that
Right.
before because I do love Nashville. And I think the reason is because I would make a total, complete fool of myself the minute that I see one of my idols. Like I have there's no, like the switch would be on full blast like crazy. So I'd ruin any chance that I had to like make any kind of respectable name for myself.
Right.
No, I'm not kidding you. Like Sam Tillis would come in a lot,
Oh my God.
and like I would catch myself while she was in the restaurant
Oh.
singing "Take the Sugar Tree."
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like singing it, and I'm like, oh my God, I hope she doesn't hear me.
Oh man, that's awesome. See, I'd be fired from a job. Like you handled that like a pro, Stevie. I can tell you, that's awesome. Okay, so before we go to commercial break, why don't you guys tell everybody that's listening the name of your album, which is fantastic, by the way, and the single that you guys have been promoting, and the video and everything. Give them a little preview of what we're going to talk about next.
Oh yeah. We put out the EP Games We Play a couple months ago, and we just put out a video for The One I Love off that record, and I guess that's what we'll be talking about.
It sure is. You guys stay tuned. I've got Stevie and Jon from the duo Towne here on the ETX ROCKS Show, and right after this break, we're going to talk about everything exciting that they've been up to, so stay tuned.
Hey everybody, this is Darren Morris, and we want to thank you guys for tuning in to the ETX ROCKS Show.
Hello everybody, this is Rio Wallace, and I am inviting you all to come out to the store Everything That Blings whenever you get the chance, which should be very, very soon if you have not already stopped by. So yes, the discounts are still here. The fashion is still here. The exquisite jewelry, exquisitely priced. Whatever word my Spanish teacher tried to tell me. Anyway, so come on out. We are here from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. Monday to Friday, and open 10 to 6 every Saturday. So come on out and we will joyously craft you with an outfit that will be outstanding.
Hey guys, it's Hayley McDaniel back on Hayley's Country Tuesdays on the ETX ROCKS Show with more from one of my favorite rising star duos out of Nashville, Stevie and Jon from Towne. How's it going, guys? Y'all still with us?
Well, we're here.
We're here. We're with you.
Good deal. We're glad to have you here. Okay, so we were just talking about your backstory and how you guys met and all of that cool stuff. Now let's talk about the here and now and get into this album, this EP that you guys put out called Games We Play. How did that come about? And I know you guys have been writing together a while before the album actually came out. So let's talk about the songwriting that went into this album.
You know what? Like, those songs were really special to us. We kind of wrote all over the board there for quite a few years, and kind of spent a lot of time finding what our sound is. Because I don't think it doesn't happen overnight. Jon, I mean, he's like, coming from Kentucky, he gets real deep into his roots sometimes, and it's real country, and I'm more like, as much as I love singing country music, I like to kind of go a little bit outside the box, and he does too, obviously. I mean, being in a punk band and all that, he really likes a whole bunch of different kinds of music, but it took us a while to kind of hone in on what that sound was, and we looked back at like a couple of the songs that we had written in the past year, and we were like, man, we got to put this on an EP. We have to record this music, And once we did that, we were like, okay, this is it. This is like, we kind of fell in love with the product, and said, like, this is totally us. And it was a really good feeling to find something that represented us in the best way we felt.
Absolutely. Well,
yeah, that's really how it came about.
Well, the album, the songs are beautiful, and like I said before, I have to continue to tell you, Stevie, how in love I am with your voice. I mean, it's just so beautiful. Like, it's almost not fair, as a vocalist or a songwriter, singer-songwriter myself. It's like, when you just hear somebody that is that gifted, it kind of knocks you off your feet. Like, well, it looks like God gave all the vocal talent over to Stevie there, so and left the rest of it for us.
I've heard you sing. You've got some chops, girl. I tell you what, we're lucky, aren't we?
That compliment, let me tell you. No, I'm just kidding. No, you are incredible, Stevie. I think you're amazing, and I agree with you 100% that this EP is a really great introduction to you guys as a group and as artists. I think it does a really great job, and it's been received so well. I mean, you guys have been really working hard. Every time I see you on social media, you guys are traveling. I mean, you recently went to New York City, is that right?
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah, we were up there for a week doing some shows, and had several days of just press only in the city, and it was amazing. That was our first
like
time
rock star.
up there together.
Yes, that's like rock star status,
Well, yeah, I mean, maybe the reality wasn't as rock star as closing your eyes and seeing in your head, but we felt cool.
Yeah, it was great. I had my first piece of New York pizza. I haven't had a piece of pizza from New York in a long time.
That's
probably
awesome.
been like a decade.
That is so cool. So tell us about the single and the video, which is phenomenal. I want to hear all the nerdy details too, like who did production and how the idea was thought of and all that good stuff. So dive right in.
Well, our friend, I mean, he's a dear friend of ours, Evan Hutchins. He's phenomenal. We crossed paths a couple years ago and said, hey man, you want to produce our EP? And he was like, I was waiting for you to ask, So he worked side by side with us for that EP, and so he actually, the one I love. The great story about that is we had cut most of the songs in the studio, but we cut the one I love in his house.
What?
And yeah. So, and honestly, it almost didn't even make the EP because we had written it literally like while we were recording.
Oh my gosh.
So, but we wrote it, and like our team, like I remember our manager, Rusty Harmon, he was like, I mean, that's going on the EP, right? And we're like, well, we didn't think about it, but I guess we could try. We had already like kind of maxed out our budget, basically.
Which was zero.
Which was like, we didn't have. But Evan, I mean, he's just awesome. He was like, I think we could really pull it off, like at my house, like in my little studio that I have.
Wow.
And we were like, and we just loved how it turned out, and really grateful that it made the EP, and it's one of our favorite songs. We play it out, and it really connects with people in all different ways, and so it's kind of like the dream of being a songwriter, a musician. That's all you really want at the end of the day,
And as far as how the song was written and the video and all that, every time I hear Stevie tell the story, I'm like, maybe it happened that way. And obviously, it's perspective, but I have a whole different view. And well, no, it's not too far off. But I remember we were there, and he had just gotten a new purse or something. Yeah, and a new wallet.
Oh my gosh.
And I remember it was super cold. It was like February in Nashville, and there was snow everywhere. And, we had just gone to the office, and we were just, didn't know what to write about. We were just like, okay, let's just write about something. But she's like, it's crazy. So anyways, I was getting rid of my old wallet, and I found this note in there on this little napkin. It was like a poem that an old ex-boyfriend of hers had written. She's like, and I don't even know why I've kept it all these years.
Oh my gosh.
And so it was that kind of just started this whole other conversation, and not even necessarily about Stevie per se, but it was like, well, like what if it was somebody and it's the one there was not the one they left kind of thing.
Ooh. And then the chills and the light bulbs go off.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, like, it's definitely a personal song for me. I mean, it has to be, or I have a problem, performing songs that I can't relate to.
Amen.
It doesn't come across, honestly. And so, yeah, I had to kind of, once I brought that up and he wanted to, like, run with that song, I had to remember the time that I moved to Nashville and I left a sweetheart of a guy back in Pennsylvania, and just so sweet. Like, we didn't end in a bad way in any way, shape, or form. It was just I had to go my way and he had to go his way, and but he just wrote the sweetest poem.
Aww.
And I just, like, it melted my heart every time. And I think I kept it. I kept it because I think, like, I just wanted to remember what it was like to, have something really good in my life.
And almost like it seems like a reminder of what you left behind in order to pursue your passion, like to not give up, like that you left something behind that big.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's so silly, and it is a simple little thing, but, like, I can't tell you how many times, like, just being in a bad relationship after that, I honestly would, like, pull out that napkin and be like, God, like, I definitely loved that guy, and he loved me a whole lot better and, more than what I'm in right now. And I can still, I remember vividly, like, kind of being like, the guy that I'm with doesn't even, like, hold a candle to what I left behind.
Wow. Yeah.
Not that it was like this, like the love of my life sort of thing, but it was just, I think it's important to hold on to the good things, to remember that, like to have a higher standard.
Amen. Ladies, if you listening to there, Stevie's giving you a great example. Don't hold yourself higher to that. And if you haven't had the experience of that was on that napkin for Stevie, it's coming. And when it's there, you'll understand how to judge things based on that. Yeah,
it's so important. Like it's not like, like I said, he wasn't the love of my life, and obviously it didn't work out. But there's just something to be said about, obviously I kept it in my wallet for I don't know how many years.
Kind of
it was important to me.
So we had done that, and then after we'd made the record and we were playing out, we had played that song. And I think it was before the record was even out that we have a nice little group of fans fans and / friends up in Kentucky, and one of them is a lesbian, and she was like, and she just was like stopped in her tracks when she heard that song.
Oh my gosh,
like, that is my song, and we were like,
I just got chills all over.
We didn't think of that, you would. Never, just us personally, we would never see it from that perspective. And then since I read this article in the New York Times about Mavis Staples and Bob Dylan, and where she had made a comment, that he was the one love of her life, and that she was still in love with him, and all these things kind of started happening after that. After that song hit, we had started singing it, and then eventually it came out. And we, I always tell people, you talk to 10 different people about that song, and you'll get 10 different versions of what the song's about.
Yes.
And so then it came time to make a video for it. And being a new band, you don't really know what to do, and everybody's like, well, just play it safe, like whatever, make it about whatever. And we kind of got together and talked about it. It's like, you just don't know, like songs like this that mean so many different things to so many people don't come around like every day.
Exactly.
It's not every record that you're going to have a song that connects in so many different ways to so many different people. And so we saw it as an opportunity. And we just said, I don't care if we've been a band for 6 years or 6 weeks, we need to make we need to make the video that does this song justice.
Wow.
And to make the video that the song deserves. And it's paid off certainly for us. We could not have imagined the response and the feedback that we've gotten back from this.
Yeah, I'm super glad. Like the director of the movie, it's a movie now.
It feels like it. I mean, it's that intense. Like, watch it and you're like, you're just you're filled with all kinds of emotions. So it could pass as that for sure.
I said movie. He sent us the treatment. Justin Clough, I have to say, that's his name, and he's a great young director, and I wish him the best. I hope to work with him again. But he sent us the treatment, and he's like, how do you guys feel about this girl kind of alluding to the fact that she's obviously not into her boyfriend or whoever it is, husband, but can we allude to the fact that she might possibly be into women or might like to dress like a man? And we were like, hell yeah.
Yes.
Because it's just like,
I got chills again.
That's reality.
It's reality.
Those are our friends. That's our story. That's our business to do that, and there was no question in our mind, and I'm just so glad that he thought of that concept and we went with it. So
I can't say enough how impressed. The first time I saw the video, which I'd heard the song and loved it from the first time I heard it, and the first time when you released the video, I was blown away. I was absolutely blown away, and I remember having the feeling of like, oh my gosh, this is going to be big. And I think it's just getting started. I don't feel like you guys have even seen half of what's probably to come in 2017 for that video, for the EP as a whole. But now that I'm hearing the backstory, it's the first time I'm hearing, the background on the inspiration and everything behind it. Kudos to you guys. You guys have absolutely stayed true to the feeling of the song, and I think it
Well,
relates
thank you.
absolutely 100% like you were describing. That's amazing. Very cool.
Thank
Thank you.
you.
Do you
Hayley, can you call us like every day and like make us feel good about ourselves? Because this is awesome.
You got it. Absolutely. I'll have a little alarm. I'll just pop up and have some like an inspirational something, and then hang up real quick. It'll
This is
be weird
great.
after a while. Okay, so speaking of 2017, you guys are going back to the studio in February. So I want to hear, is there any details that you can give beforehand, or what's happening?
Gosh, honestly, we're just as clueless as anyone else, I think. So we're kind of just doing what's gotten us this far, which is just kind of shooting from the hip and going with our gut.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
we've got a bunch of songs that we dig, and
Yeah, it's going to be tough. I think the toughest part in the next month and a half is going to be deciding which songs to record. I mean, I think we've narrowed it down to like 15 to 20, and it's going to be, like we're like, well, I think we're going to do an EP. I mean, who knows? It might turn into something bigger than that. But we're just kind of, going with what feels right at the time. Like, we don't try to think too much about it. Other than we play the songs out as much as possible. We try to see what the response is, and honestly, we have to gauge ourselves while we do that. Like, what songs do we love to sing and perform more than the others? Because that's really important too.
Yes, it is. Absolutely.
And so we're really fortunate that we get to go out on the road and kind of
test the water.
Yeah, test drive these songs a little bit and see what feels good. But I'm like super. I mean, like I said, that's gonna be the hardest part, is figuring out what songs to record and which to kind of like,
set aside for later.
Yeah, well, just because, like you said, we're just kind of now seeing some feedback from everything that we had worked on last year.
Yeah.
And so we really want to stay true to kind of what we began, because I think, or we both think that we're maybe onto something good there. And when it comes to songs, just because you've got a song and that you can do it, maybe doesn't necessarily mean you should do it.
Amen.
Sometimes,
absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, because we were actually we were looking at the songs the other day, and I gotta say, I want more Jon Steevie on these songs. So I know
woo! Yes, give us more.
The last EP, he has this beautiful song, "The Rest," on there that we wrote, and I love that song, and it's one of my favorite songs to perform.
Yeah.
So looking forward, when we're looking at these songs, I'm trying my damnedest to get his voice out right in front, and we're reworking some songs to make that happen, because it's just that, that's the fun part too.
Well, I think
we were looking at all
let's
songs,
talk
I was like,
page. Let's hashtag we want Jon, or hashtag Jon 2017.
Here's the truth, though, is you sit there and most of any and everyone that we write with has heard our record, and they're wanting singles, and so I mean, it's really going to come down to me and Stevie just writing a song and hoping we hit upon something.
Right.
Because if I was writing with Towne, I would not want to write a Jon song.
Okay. Well, I can say I agree with Stevie, and I think that there's a definite place for your voice to be heard on country radio.
I'm tired during these shows. I'm tired. He needs to sing more.
He needs a break, Jon. It's your turn to get up to bat.
Yeah. So hopefully we can pull that off on this next EP.
I have something just as a little, because I'm super nosy, and I was really excited when I found this out. Jon, you had a song cut by Anderson East.
Yeah.
What? I need to hear
Yeah.
about this.
Are you a fan of his?
Yes, highly. I saw him
Oh,
at
okay.
ACL the first time I saw him live was this past Austin City Limits Festival, and he blew
Oh,
me
perfect.
away. So tell me which song is yours and how that came about.
Oh gosh. Okay. Well, that's kind of a funny story. The song is called "What a Woman Wants to Hear,"
Okay.
and it's like I don't know. It's on the Delilah record that he put out.
Ah,
But yeah, that song came about. We're all just a big group of friends, and me and Stevie would be over on Anderson's back porch, and it would just be all of us just hanging out and drinking beers and eating chicken,
what?
typically. And so, anyways, he was making this record, and he had wanted to write at some point, and we were all very busy at the time. I mean, Stevie and I were both, she was still at Athens, I was still working out at the farm. And anyways, Anderson had texted one day, and he said, "Hey, are you free? Come over and write." And I just so happened to be. And typically, I would have called Stevie and said, "Hey, well, let's go write with Mike." And but she happened to be at Athens. But the last time we had seen Anderson over at the house, he was playing us this record that he had made. And most people don't know that he actually made an entire other record before Delilah with Dave Cobb.
Oh my gosh.
And it's really great, but it's very singer songwritery and much more Americana. Like if you were to think of what he's doing now, kind of more R&B soul kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So, anyways, he had this whole record, and it was really great. And me and Stevie were driving back to our apartments, and she was like, "Man, what he doesn't have is like, song for the ladies." And because they were all like super, "She Done Me Wrong" kind of songs, and they were really wonderful songs. And so I've got to give Stevie a ton of credit. When I went over there that day, he was like, "Well, what do you want to write about?" I said, "Boy, you need a song that the women want to hear." And I said, as a matter of fact, we're going to write "What a Woman Wants to Hear" today.
I love it.
Yeah, so anyways, we wrote it, and he kind of hated it. But thankfully, Dave Cobb loved it.
Oh my God. Dave loved it. Let me just stop you right there. Did you just say, but thankfully, Dave Cobb loved it?
Yes.
Okay, just making sure I heard you right, because that's not something I hear very much during interviews. Like, "Oh, I wrote this song, this one guy hated it, but Dave Cobb loved it." So,
well,
awesome.
Yeah. I mean, I think he just kind of saw what Stevie and I were both saying. It's like, man, you're a good-looking dude with a swooner kind of voice, And
yeah, he's sexy.
Yeah, he's a good-looking fella. And
Go Miranda, is all I got to say.
Yeah, so I think Dave was probably thinking the same thing. He's like, man, you can't have all these bummer songs ripping girls,
Right.
Like, and and it's not like everybody in town was wanting to write with him at that point.
Right.
And so, anyways, it was on that record, and then Dave wound up getting his imprint, Low Country Sound, after the Sturgill stuff and Chris Stapleton, stuff had come out.
Mm-hmm.
And so Anderson was the first artist that he signed, and so they went back and remade it, and like maybe 2 or 3 songs from that original record made it onto Delilah, and I was very, very fortunate that was one of them. So that was just totally shot in the dark, weird, random, just right place, right time, right song kind of thing.
Well, I agree on that front, but I also agree it's also a dose of hard work, talent, and dedication, and to just continue writing good songs. So kudos to you for that.
Well, I write a lot of bad ones too. I write a lot more bad ones than good ones. So.
Funny is that. Well, Jon and Stevie, I just have to say thank you so much for your time today. And is there anything that you guys want to kind of shout out as far as what's coming up next for you guys, or any shows or anything you'd like for your fans to go check out on your website or social media?
Well, definitely check out townemusic.com.
Yeah, we we're constantly putting up new shows. In fact, like I couldn't even tell you where we're going to be. I know we're going to be doing, like, we're going to be up in the DC area. We'll be doing Atlanta. We'll be...
Actually, since this is ETX, we'll be in the ATX on March 15th.
Oh, my
So,
goodness.
yeah, so we will be in Austin. I don't know exactly where we're playing yet, but we'll be down there at South by Southwest. So, yeah, just look it up on our website. Y'all Texans, come on out.
Yes.
And,
Come see Towne in Austin. That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Tell everybody you on Twitter and on Facebook and all the crazy social media sites.
Yes, that's just at Towne Music, and obviously Towne with an E, TOWNE Music.
Okay.
And if you can't spell music,
then
I can't help you.
Google it. I'm sure, or ask Siri. She'll take you right there. Awesome. Well, you guys, thank you so much. I'm such a fan, and I'm telling you, I'm claiming it right now. It's going to be broadcast right here on the ETX show. I hopefully have the first out loud prediction that the Towne duo from Nashville is about to make 2017 their biggest and best year yet. You guys are going to blow up. It's happening. So congratulations on. Yeah, well, you guys have worked super hard, and you got every piece of the puzzle to make it happen. So good luck to you guys, and thanks so much for coming on.
Thank you so much
Thank
for having
you.
me.
We're big fans of you too, babe.
Oh, sweet.
We
That's
are.
awesome. Thank you. Blush. Okay, guys. Well, thank you. And as always, thank you so much for tuning in to the ETX ROCKS Show, especially for Hayley's Country Tuesdays. And I look forward to bringing you new and exciting artists every week, as well as the ones that you've heard of before and behind the scenes. So stay tuned for upcoming episodes. And don't forget that ETX rocks. Covering music-related content of all genres. If it filters through Eastern Texas, then you know we are all over it, baby. From Texarkana to the coast, Dallas down to Houston, and everything in between, we are ETX ROCKS.